Well, good morning, everybody. Hey, it is Melanie Mitro. It is Tuesday, May 29th, and it is Business Tip Tuesday time. So welcome. I hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend and got some time to relax. Hopefully the sun was shining and you got to chill out in the pool a little bit. I know we had our family over and totally had a great weekend. So I want to share with you today just a little bit about mindset and leadership. So if you hadn't been following me on my Instagram, my Insta stories, you saw that last week I had attended an EntreLeadership conference in San Antonio, Texas. Like hands down, one of the best events that I have ever gone to. I went last year and then I went again this year and loved it. And one of the most profound sort of statements that I wrote down in my notes was this concept of, so Chris Hogan is one of Dave Ramsey's. He's part of his leadership team. Good morning, guys. And as I was listening to Chris Hogan talk, he talked about this concept of not needing permission to battle for your business and to really say to yourself, like, you know what, there are going to have to be times where you are going to have to step up to the plate and you are going to have to dig your heels in and you are going to have to battle for what you believe in. And that really hit home for me because I think a lot of times, right, we just sort of sit back and we say to ourselves, oh, we've hit a roadblock, we've had a challenge, oh, it's the end of the month, right? Here we are. There's like 4 days left in the month, 3 days left in the month, and maybe you haven't reached the goals that you've set for yourself. Maybe you haven't reached your minimum qualifications for, a certain rank or, a certain requirement or a certain bonus or recognition level that you want. And you have kind of two options, right? You can either step up to the plate and you can say, like, I choose the battle for my business. I choose to say, I'm not going to wait until next month. I'm not going to wait until the time is right or, until like people aren't busy or the kids are out of school and when people aren't all tied up, like I'm going to battle for my business now. I'm going to battle for what I believe in. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to draw a line in the sand. And I'm going to stop making excuses for why I'm not where I want to be. And it can really be anything from your personal mindset. Maybe you are in a negative downward spiral where you're feeding yourself this negativity or I'm going to fail or I can't do this or nobody wants to buy from me. Nobody wants to join my team. The market is saturated and you're dragging yourself into that downward spiral. Or you're the kind of person that draws a line in the sand and says, you know what, if I believe in the power of positivity, if I start going out there and thinking in an abundance mindset, if I begin to think of ways that I can contribute and bless the lives of others, then I'm going to find the right people because my attitude is going to shift. It's all about the way you present yourself as the leader. And whether you are brand new in your business venture or you've been in this for a while, the sooner you position yourself as a leader, the sooner that you say to yourself, things are not happening to go against me, things are happening for me. They're actually shaping and molding me into the person that I am going to become, right? When you begin to just have that shift in your thinking and say, like, I need to draw a line in the sand and I have to say, I am all in. I'm all in. Failure is not an option. Right? It doesn't matter how many times that I'm told no. It doesn't matter how many social media posts I put out there that don't get a response. I'm going to always say to myself, what did I learn? How do I adapt? And then how do I overcome? How do I move forward in a way that will allow me to be successful? So that's another thing that we're going to kind of talk about, right? We say to ourselves, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready, Melanie. Like, I want to battle for my business, but like, it's just not going well. And I feel like I'm doing everything that I should be doing and it's just not happening. Well, here's a few things that you can do. This concept of adapt and overcome. And we're going to talk about that for a moment. So I hear a lot of times people will say to me, right, I want to battle for my business. I want to be successful. I am sharing on social 2 to 3 times a day, 7 to 10 Insta stories. I'm not getting anybody. All right, then we need to take a step back because we don't want to continue to do things that aren't working in our business. So what do? We take a step back and we have to sort of evaluate, right? Am I asking people for a call to action? Like, am I telling them how I want them to respond to this social media post? Am I adding value to people? Or am I just patting myself on the back because you've done your workout or you've read a certain personal development book, or you're posting a picture of your food, but you aren't giving any context, right? So think about, like, how do you want people to react to what you're putting out there? So if it's just look at me, did my workout today, or look, here's a picture of my food, it doesn't do anything for me. I'm not getting value out of it. You're just the hero, and I'm patting you on the back and telling you good job. And honestly, after about a week, I'm going to start ignoring you because you really don't give me any value in my life. So what can you do? How can you take the same concept and turn it into something value added? So for example, I did this over the weekend, right? I was talking about yesterday, it was a holiday. And so I did my workout in the morning, and instead of me just posting my workout selfie, right, I decided that I was going to take that photo and I was going to teach people how to have a healthier Memorial Day. And I gave like 4 or 5 tips on ways to like handle the barbecues or handle the poolside parties. And so now people could clearly see I'd done my workout, but now I was adding value to their life. So they read the post and then they could instantly apply. Let's say that I'm reading a personal development book and I find a quote in there and I turn it into a quotable that I'm going to put on my Instagram. Instead of just posting the quote, which people are going to be like, awesome, love your quote, why don't you talk about the way it applies to your life, the way that it could apply to somebody else, how you like tell a story of something you've overcome or why that quote really spoke to you. Ask for people to comment below, right? Now you're engaging in your audience. You're giving them value added. Let's take food, for example. So let's say, I thought there was like a bug on my hand, sorry. So let's say, you have a picture of your lunch and you, I know, right? I'm losing it. Let's say you have a picture of your lunch. And instead of just taking a picture of your lunch, whatever program you're doing right now, talk about it. Why is that a well-balanced meal? How is that helping you to get to your goals? Why did you choose the foods that you chose? What was the recipe? How did you season and flavor your vegetables or your protein to give it good flavor? Like, actually give the recipe. Talk about whether or not your kids liked it. How did you adjust it to make it kid friendly? Now you're adding value to people. All right. So the goal is value, it's motivation, and it's making sure that you are engaging your audience. And 2, whatever industry that you're a part of, you're not just a person in that industry. You have a life outside of that. So are you all business, or are you showing people what you do in your downtime, right? Are your Insta stories your life and also your business, and how the two actually work together? And make sure that you're giving very clear calls to action a lot. You don't want to just like put it out there and then not come back and ask for a decision until another week later. So frequent calls to action, engagement, giving value, right? Teaching people tools and things so they can build a trust with you. That is more than checking off the box. How do you become better at that? My friends, do you know how I became better at this? I Googled how to get more engagement on Instagram, how to get people to sign up through my Instagram stories, right? So those are things you can go out, you can Google search, you can go to YouTube, you can watch trainings, and then all you do is you adapt. You adapt what you're currently doing and you try again. And then you do that for a period of 7 to 10 days, then you stop, you reflect, you adapt, and you try again. It's the same thing with invitations or actually sending private messages or inviting or following up. Not everybody's going to say yes the first time that you put content out there or the first time you send an invitation. My coach, the person that signed me up, probably invited me at minimum 7 times before I actually said yes. So are you following up? Are you following up more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times? Are you, are you sending out invitations, not just once a day, but like 10 times a day? The people that are the most successful in your industry are the ones that have the most practice. They're not the ones that have the most luck. They're not the ones that have the biggest following. They are the people that have the most practice. And through practice, you learn when you've given too lengthy of an answer. You learn when you've given just enough of the right information. You kind of find your flow and your rhythm, and you know how to respond to people so that you begin to get the outcome you want. That is only through trial and error, because your audience is different than mine, is different than your success partners, and you have to find what works best for you, all right? Then we come to this part of adding people to your contact list. You wanna grow fast or do you wanna grow slow? Draw a freaking line in the sand and say, I wanna reach my goals this month, and I am not gonna sit here and just do 2 people every single day. I'm going to do 20. And then if that wasn't hard enough, I'm going to add more to it, right? You do as many as you can handle. How? Well, how do you think I find people? It is through using hashtags. It is through searching hashtags until, and I don't just search 5 hashtags and go, well, that didn't work. I didn't find anybody. I sit there until I figure it out. And some days are great. Some days are not so great, but that's the bottom line is you got to have a little bit of grit, and you have to understand that, you know, challenges are going to happen. And until you lean into it, you say, take the matters into your own hands. You go to your dear friend Google, you go to YouTube, you search for whatever you want to learn, how to find people, how to connect with your niche, how to define your niche. Google it. It literally will allow you to take your business into your own hands and to be successful. So looking for people that are just like you, not anybody, but people you would genuinely want to connect with. And then what do whenever you see somebody you want to be friends with? You introduce yourself to them. You'd say like, hey, I've been following you, or hey, I noticed you have 2 kids, or I noticed you live in Pennsylvania, or I noticed you were just at a park. What park was that? You know, we're looking for a place to ride bikes. Like, start a conversation with people, right? That's how you expand your market. And you just have to position yourself in a way that is open for opportunities to enter in. All right, the last thing that I want to share with you is this. You know, communication. So those of you that are starting to build a team, those of you that are starting to bring people into your organization, and you are really saying like, I want to go to that next level. One of the things that I love that Chris said was this concept of, you know, don't expect that people know what you are thinking. Don't just say an expectation, you know, an expectation that doesn't get communicated, it's just a thought. So are you communicating on social media? Are you communicating through your team page to your current clients in your groups that you have an opportunity for them? Or are you just in your mind going, well, they should know. They should know that this is a lucrative business. Don't assume that anybody knows, because as of right now, it is just a thought in your mind. The minute you transition and you start expressing to other people through video, through personal invitations, now you are communicating your vision. So the only way you are going to get from where you are now to where you want to be is to communicate where you're going and why you're going there with such conviction that people can't help but want to join you. Here's an example of that. I went on social last week and I was like, look, and I did this when I was a new coach too. I was like, look, my train is leaving the station, and you have 2 choices. You can either get on the train with me and we are going to ride into the sunset, and we are going to achieve incredible goals, and we are going to help people achieve a healthy and fulfilling life. And I am going to arm you with the tools and the tips to successfully build a business. Or you can stay back here at the station, but we're going with or without you. And you can join me now, or you can join me later. And the choice is yours. And I did that. I did that in my team page. I did that on my Instagram. I did a live video about that last week. But you should communicate. Like, I'm excited. I believe in this opportunity. Like, holy cow, we have new products and new programs, and we've got our summit coming up and lots of launches that are going to be happening. Like, you don't know what you're missing out on. And we are a company that has such integrity, that is grounded in the root of helping people achieve a healthy and